Keynote address by Charles Sanford at the 2008 Project 2019 Annual Conference, Part 3 of 3.
Specifically, in the year 2006, 18% of black Americans earned college degrees as compared to 28% of all Americans who earned college degrees. Based on Project 2019's definition, when these two percentages are equal, then black America will have reached educational parity. Now, using college degrees as a measurement may be somewhat arbitrary, but then so is any other possible measurement. And clearly, in the technology-based global economy of the 21st century, a bachelor's degree is quickly becoming the minimum requirement for a reasonable chance of having a sustainable, economically rewarding career. And if you have any doubts as to the economic value of higher education, simply take a look at the income for Americans based on educational level attained. The average yearly income is $29,000 for a high school graduate and $54,000 for a college graduate. And if you subtract the difference between those two figures and multiply it over a 40-year career, you will see that the average college graduate earns at least $1 million more than the average high school graduate. And if you still have doubts regarding the economic value of education, or if you still think that the problem is racism, just take a look at the numbers. 18% of all black Americans over the age of 25 have a college degree. The median income for a black family is $35,000. 28% of white Americans have a college degree, and the median income for white families is $59,000. And then there are the Asian Americans, the other racial minority in America. 50%. That's 1 out of every 2 Asian Americans you see walking down the street over the age of 25 has at least one college degree. And needless to say, the median income for Asian American families is almost $69,000 a year. Yes, in the past, racism was the problem. And past racism is clearly the reason why we are so far behind now. And yes, there is still racism in America today, but racism is no longer what is holding us back. If it is not education and knowledge that is holding us back, how else can you explain the success of Asian Americans in the 21st century? The third and final element in the definition of Project 2019 is that it must be a movement. Let me point out that most major social changes have an evolutionary component and a revolutionary component. In the case of slavery, from the beginning, and for more than 2 centuries, there were Americans who knew that slavery was wrong, and they fight and died to end it. But it took the revolution of the American Civil War to finally end slavery. In the case of black America's struggle for civil rights, the evolutionary phase lasted for more than 100 years, during which time people fought and died for civil rights. But it took the revolution of millions of black Americans coming together as part of the civil rights movement to accomplish the goal. Now, most assuredly, if the American Civil War had never occurred, slavery would have eventually been abolished in America. It may have taken another 50 or 100 years, but it would have ended just as, in fact, it was abolished in the rest of the world. And if the civil rights movement had never happened, eventually, black Americans would have obtained civil rights. It just may have taken another 50 or 100 years. And now, black America is in the evolutionary phase of their third great struggle to reach social and economic equality in America. And truth be told, if we continue on the path that we are now on, in another 100 or 200 years, we'll look around and see, oh, black America has finally reached social and economic equality. But why in the world would we choose to wait for things to get better? After 400 years, we ought to be tired of waiting. We need a revolution right now, and I submit to you that Project 2019 can be that revolution. Admittedly, accomplishing the goals of Project 2019 will not be easy. In order to perpetuate slavery and to keep black Americans in their place during the Jim Crow era, it was necessary to make black Americans ignorant and to keep knowledge away from them. This is why it was illegal to educate black Americans during the slavery era, and why black Americans received separate, substandard education during the Jim Crow era. But it goes even further than just keeping the knowledge away from black Americans. For almost 400 years, black Americans have been socially engineered to become the people we are today. Black Americans have been socially engineered to believe that formal education is a white thing, and that by going to school and getting good grades, you ain't keeping it real. At the same time, Black Americans have been socially engineered to believe that we are physical beings, not intellectual beings. This is why some black youths will play basketball outside in the dead of winter, but won't read a book if their lives depended on it. And this is why most young black men think that Beyonce Knowles and LeBron James represent black folks, and think that Colin Powell and Condoleezza Rice are just a couple of Uncle Toms. And for the record, Black Americans have also been socially engineered to not trust each other, to avoid unity, and to depend on the benevolence of the white man for our salvation. So given these challenges, how do we fix people who were purposely broken, and for centuries every effort was made to keep them broken? The good news is that Black America can be fixed. The bad news is that almost 400 years of damage is not going to be repaired overnight. I knew that this was the case when I first announced Project 2019 in 1998. At that time, the year 2019 was 21 years away. And if every black child born in the year 1998 had been raised with the message and the spirit of Project 2019, we would be well on our way toward a better Black America. Again, the good news is that Black America can be fixed. But Project 2019 needs not your help. Project 2019 needs your leadership. Without you leading the movement, the cruelty, the pain, the suffering, the stupidity, and the craziness will continue. So where do you begin? First and foremost, of course, it's all about knowledge. Knowledge is power. And to begin with, every Black American alive today needs to at least know about Project 2019. You should make it your goal to tell at least 50 people over the next year about Project 2019. That's only one person a week. And let me know if you need some Project 2019 literature. Secondly, it's about mindset. And given all that Black America has been through, and all that Black America has overcome, I am absolutely convinced that if Black America as a people make up their collective minds to do something, we can and we will succeed. And I submit to you that Black America is already doing most of what it needs to do to make Project 2019 a reality. There are literally hundreds of thousands of black tutoring programs, mentoring programs, training programs, black churches, education ministries, black scholarship programs, all across America. Can you imagine the power of just attaching or associating the name Project 2019 to all of these efforts? Can you imagine black youths walking around in Project 2019 t-shirts instead of wearing gang colors, or spending $100 on a sports jersey so that athletes and their white sponsors can pimp their rides? Can you imagine how uplifting it would be for black children all across America who are not lucky enough to have positive role models in their lives to be able to look around and see that they are not alone in their desire to succeed? Can you imagine it? I can. All we have to do is overcome all the negative stereotypes that have been heaped upon us for so long that we have come to believe them ourselves. We must find a way to trust each other. We must find a way to unify as a people. We must stop waiting on the benevolence of others to save us and find a way to save ourselves. And with all my heart, I believe that that is Project 2019. In closing, let me assure you that the year 2019 will be a watershed moment in black history. And if we do nothing, it will be a year of sorrow and regret, a year of bemoaning 400 years of slavery and oppression. But with your leadership, the year 2019 can be a year of celebrating the resilience, the resourcefulness, the strength of character, and the pride of black America. And finally, on the subject of black history, we cannot afford to limit our study of black history to a one-month event in February of each year. Without knowledge of black history, it is impossible to know where we come from and why we are the people that we are today. Without knowledge of black history, it is impossible to appreciate the contributions and, more importantly, the sacrifices of those who came before us. And without knowledge of black history, it is impossible to envision how far we can go in the future. And that is what Project 2019 is all about, making black history. And we can make black history by creating a better future for our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and all future generations of black Americans. We can create a new legacy, a positive legacy, a powerful legacy for black America, a legacy that will last for the next 400 years. Thank you.